What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Let's talk about Mistweaver on the new patch 10.2. We are in. I've done a couple of different keys, getting ready for the next week, getting ready for the next season, of course. Heading into season 3, we've got a pretty cool tier set bonus that's coming up. It's you know, it's a little bit boring, but it's very strong. And if you've been watching other like tier list videos recently talking about different healers, I think you'll probably have seen that Mistweaver is getting a really good rap right now. That they're looking very, very strong. And for my testing as well, they're also looking very strong. So we might even see one in the Race to World first. We'll have to see. I don't know if they're quite that strong, but teams might start getting their monk buff from Mistweaver because it is just really strong. It can basically handle any type of content, right? So you've got the really, really strong Clouded Focus plus Yu'lon's kind of raid build, which is really good. And then you've got your Mythic Plus build with things like Shaylin's Gift and, of course, Invoke Red Crane and the Feline Stomp stuff. So it's really good. It has really strong damage as a healer, which is, I think, one of my favorite parts of it. I did about 50k overall in this last dungeon that I just ran, which is more than good. It's great for damage overall. You got your Zen Pulse damage, obviously Feline Stomp, and then Blackout Kick is now doing a lot of damage. So let me talk really quickly about the changes that have come through for healers and for Mistweaver in particular, and then I'll show you some footage of a dungeon I just did. All healers had their AoE damage healing reduced a little bit in this patch going forward, but they had their single target healing really buffed. So things like Vivify went up, even Enveloping Mist went up, which is really, really good for Mistweaver. And for us, one of the biggest changes, of course, was that Ancient Concordance went from a 2-point talent to a 1-point talent, and that freed up another talent in the bottom of our tree. I'm currently using Tea of Serenity or Tea of Plenty, depending how I'm feeling in the moment, but you can do a million different things with this talent. You can invest into Font of Life if you wanted to get the cooldown of Thunder Focus Tea down a little bit more. I don't know. You can grab Yu'lon's Whisper if you want. You could grab one of these Tea talents. You could grab Secret Infusion. You could put 1 point into Misty Peaks, which actually might be really strong even in Mythic Plus. I think it's a really strong talent in Raid, of course, but this might be really good in Mythic Plus. You can invest a talent point into Energizing Brew so that when you're getting your mana back from Mana Tea, it's much quicker and it's more efficient. So there's a lot of choices here that you actually have with this last talent point. I prefer to throw them into one of the Tea talents right now because it makes your Thunder Focus Tea, when you press that button, it's just so significant, right? You'll get multiple bonuses, which is really great. So your next ability will, of course, have an additional bonus, and then it'll buff another 2 abilities on top of that. So you might get like 3 Renewing Mists. Your next 3 Renewing Mists are going to last 10 seconds longer, which is really crazy. You might get the mana regen, or the free mana cost on Vivify, which is really strong because Vivify costs a lot of mana. Or you might get your Enveloping Mist to have that instant heal, and it has an immediate upfront heal as well. That's really strong. Or you can go the other direction and get multiple Rising Sun kicks in a row to immediately refund their cooldown, basically, and you can just keep pressing Rising Sun kick over and over and over again, and it's really, really cool. This is what I ran in the dungeon footage I'm going to show you. So, multiple options here, lots of good buffs. I think you can do whatever you want with this last talent point. You don't have to invest into the Teas. If you want an extra boost from Yu'lon's Whisper, go for it. If you want more stats from Secret Infusion, go for it. If you want the Misty Peaks thing, honestly, take whatever you want. You could take the mana as well. It's honestly up to you. It really is. I don't think that there's anything here that's necessarily the correct decision. It depends what situation you're in. But that's really the buffs that came. Those are the talent changes that came through. One of the biggest buffs, the last thing I really want to harp on for the talent changes, is this change right here. Teachings of the Monastery. This is absolutely crazy. They buffed this, and now it stacks up to 4. So your Tiger Palm will cause your Blackout Kick to strike an additional time, stacking up to 4, which means if you get it all the way up to 4, your Blackout Kick hits 5 times. Because there's an initial hit, plus 4, 1 plus 4 is 5. I just did math on stream, you're welcome. 5 times, and if you're on your Feline, your Blackout Kick will strike 3 targets. That's 5 times 3, which is 15, by the way. So, this equals to this ends up equaling out to a ton of extra healing from Ancient Teachings. Okay? Your Ancient Teachings healing is going to go way up because of this. And if you just watch the damage even, let's go to the current segment. So watch this. I'm going to put my Phaline down. Remember, when you're on your Phaline, your Tiger Palm will stack twice, which means you're stacking your Teachings of the Monastery twice as fast. So instead of having to press it 4 times, you only have to press it twice, and you get 4 stacks of Teachings of the Monastery. So we go 1, 2, up here I've got my 4 buffs, and then I Blackout Kick. Look how much damage that just did. It did 161,000 damage because it hit 15 freaking times. You can see on the right side of the details there. I cast it once, it hit 15 times. It's actually like crazy how much damage this ends up doing and how much healing it ends up producing from Ancient Teachings. It just produced 260k healing from 1 press of Blackout Kick, and guess what? Both of these abilities are free. They're completely free. Phaline Stomp is 10,000 mana. That's a hefty cost. But once you put this sucker down, you know, the buffs last for a long time, right? It stays on the ground for 30 seconds. That's a long time. So you don't have to keep pressing it if you don't want to. And you get this extra double tap on Tiger Palm. And now you get 4 extra hits on Blackout Kick, which ends up being 5 in total, which produces an outrageous amount of healing and damage. So this kind of means that this is why I think Mistweaver is considered to be such a strong healer moving into this next patch. This is the main reason why. Of course, getting an extra talent point in the bottom of your tree is super cool. Put it wherever you want. But realistically, this is the change that really matters. In AoE, you end up getting so much extra damage, so much extra healing, and you're almost guaranteed to reset the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick, which, as you know, if you're taking the talents up here, Rapid Diffusion, your Rising Sun Kick will apply Renewing Mist for 6 seconds. So, again, here's kind of what it looks like, right? You come down here, you do this, Tiger Palm. I'm actually going to do a Thunder Focus Tea into an Enveloping Mist to do my double tap on Zen Pulse. Then I'm going to do a huge Blackout Kick. Then I stab, Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, do my other Phaline again. I'm not even using Spinning Crane Kick anymore. I'm just doing my Blackout Kicks because they do so much damage. I'm doing 72k DPS right now. 75k. We'll do another one of these. Do one of these. Do a Tiger Palm. So I think, like, the damage coming out of Mistweaver is going to be really crazy. Like, really strong. Okay? You can see most of it is coming from my Blackout Kick. This is the change that we're talking about. You can obviously choose to press Spinning Crane Kick if you want to, but I think that the synergies here are better. It's better to press Blackout Kick now. It's better to do double Tiger Palm into the Blackout Kick and have it hit 5 freaking times. It's going to basically guarantee reset your Rising Sun Kick. You get to press Rising Sun Kick again. That's going to add another Renewing Mist for free and extend your Renewing Mists. So, the whole combo here, I think, is really, really strong. I also think it means that you need to emphasize haste as a part of your build. I think it's realistically a good idea to go up to like 32 to 35% haste on Mistweaver now. I think it's really good because you want to be able to just press these free buttons that don't cost any mana but produce a bunch of damage and a bunch of healing. You want to press them as much as you possibly can. That's really what I think you want to be doing. So here's a little bit of footage from the just Twitch VOD. This is a pack that I did here. Again, Phaline Stomp into Chi Burst. And then we do have to do some healing here. I made sure that I Enveloping Mist the tank so that I can double tap my Zen Pulse. Always want to try and do that. We're almost doing 70k DPS here, and we're healing everybody. And, like, I'm not really focusing that much on healing. This is what I think is so strong about this. You can just kind of focus on doing damage. You don't really have to think too hard about the healing that you're having to do because you're just producing a crazy amount of healing with your Blackout Kicks. We're doing 75k, 70k DPS right now. This is crazy. Actually, so almost 80k. Like, it's just really, really strong. I love it. I love it so much. So this is like the best iteration of Mistweaver, in my opinion, that it's ever been. Way back in Shadowlands. Look at my Blackout Kick damage. Yeah, it was crazy. Way back in Shadowlands, you know, we had the beginnings of Mistweaver starting to become this, you know, DPS slash healing spec, and it's now, we're into like the final iteration of that, in my opinion. You can see right before pull here, I end up channeling my Mana Tea. I'm doing it right now. My mana is going back up really, really fast. So this usually ends up being enough mana for me, and even though there were mana nerfs, it's not a big deal. On this pack, this is a plus 21 Tyrannical, by the way. I just want to highlight this. This is a very tough boss on plus 21 Tyrannical. On pull, you put Phalanx down, you Tiger Palm once, then you need to press your Chi-Ji. I've got Chi-Ji going right now, and then he's about to jump around. He's about to do his Gash. Gash Frenzy right here. Get ready. I'm going to do a massive Blackout Kick. Ready? I've got all 4 of my teachings loaded up, ready to go. Watch everybody's health. They're going to jump around. I kick immediately, gets rid of those buff. Tiger Palm again. I kick again, immediately heals everybody to full, which stops that gash damage from coming through. This is a 21 Tyrannical, and it looks like that mechanic did nothing. But of course, we produced 117k HPS, which is why we ended up negating that mechanic. But you can basically do it, I think, especially because the blackout kicks that are coming through are so strong. They're so strong. One thing I will say, moving into the next tier, the current tier bonus gives us a bunch of mana back, right? It does give us a good amount of mana back. So you might want to invest into that extra talent point that gives you the bonus to your Mana Tea when you're pressing it. I think that might be a really important talent moving in, because once you get your new tier set bonus unlocked, you're going to be missing out on some mana, and that's really important. So here comes round 2 of Gash Frenzy, jumping around. Here goes 1, 2. I'm going to pop Revival here into my Chi-Ji. My Chi-Ji's back. In the middle of my Chi-Ji, I have to get rid of the Afflicted. Very annoying. But the Blackout Kicks, man, they just get everybody to full. And you can see our healing is really crazy. He marks me for Butchery again. This is the second mark for Butchery, which is super annoying, but it is what it is. And yeah, the healing is just going to be really good. It's feeling really strong. Mistweaver kind of has the whole package, guys. You've got a kick that's accessible, which is really good. I think you've got really good utility. People sleep on Mistweaver utility. Things like Paralyze and Ring of Peace are really good. You have an AoE stun in the Tiger Tail sweep. Or, yeah, that's the talent for it, but you know what I'm talking about. You've got really good healing utility in the sense that you can bubble people. You have the best bubble in the game with Chi Cocoon. With Life Cocoon, sorry. And then you have a lot of damage, which is really, really good. Probably the highest, I think the highest DPS healer in the game. That's, honestly, that's just my... Having seen a lot of the healers now, I feel like Mistweaver is in a really good spot with these Blackout Kick changes. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think that Mistweaver is sitting very pretty for the next patch. If you have considered playing Mistweaver, but you've been putting it off until now, you should definitely jump in now. It's really good. A lot of your healing just comes from doing damage. You just kind of run around and do your DPS rotation, and you end up pumping a ridiculous amount of healing. It's even stronger now than it's ever been. We have a new talent point that we have on the bottom of the tree, which is really good. There's so many wonderful reasons to play Mistweaver. I think their mana might be a little bit of an issue. Again, moving it to 10.2, but again, you just pop Mana Tea like I'm doing right here. I do not have the buff talent, the talent that buffs Mana Tea. I am not using it. I could use it, and I would get even more mana out of that. I would have got up to 90% of my mana rather than just 75. So, again, so many good reasons to play Mistweaver. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much again for watching. I will see you at 10.2. Let's go, baby.